Mario Kart 8 has been out for at least a month now, and it's sold 2 million copies, according to Nintendo. So I thought I'd give my thoughts on it and see if it stacks up against all the other past Mario Karts. Let's first take a look at some of the game modes you'll be playing while on Mario Kart 8. You have single player, multiplayer, 1 to 2 player online mode, and Mario Kart TV. Inside single player, you'll be able to select between Grand Prix, time trials, versus race, and the battle mode. Grand Prix is just like the Grand Prix of traditional Mario Karts, where you have 8 cups, 4 new and 4 retro, and there are 32 tracks total, which means there are 4 tracks in each cup. You can then select whatever engine class you want, from 50 class to 150 class, and then eventually mirror mode, which is basically the tracks that are just mirrored. In time trial mode, you race by yourself in order to get the best time possible. You can also choose to race against other ghosts, whether it be Nintendo's own staff ghosts, or ghost data from online. From my perspective, it's only useful to do time trials because you're able to get the gold tires if you beat all the staff ghosts in all the courses. In Versus mode, you are able to customize your own race experience. Whether or not you want teams, what kind of items you want, what engine class you want, how hard the computer opponent should be, what kind of vehicles the computer opponents drive, how to pick your courses, and how many races you're planning on doing. Battle mode has similar customization options like Versus mode. However, you can now choose how many minutes each round should be and how many rounds should be played. In these particular courses, you have 8 to choose from, but they're not like the typical arenas that battle mode is known for. Instead, they're just tracks, similar to those in the Grand Prix and Versus modes, except now they're sort of modified so that they're more item boxes and more areas to explore. Now to talk about characters. There are at least 30 characters you can play as in Mario Kart 8, and they have the traditional sizes ranging from lightweight to heavyweight, and of course middleweight in between. Now for me personally, I like using Daisy, Rosalina, Ludwig, Iggy, and Lemmy, but of course, you're free to choose whatever you want to play with. Making a return from Mario Kart 7 is the kart customization tools that you can use. Now there are 3 kinds of kart customizations. You have the body, the wheels, and then the gliders. You can choose whichever combination of wheels and gliders and kart bodies you like. And of course in this game, you also have bikes and ATVs as well. And ATVs are totally new to this series. However, you only have about 3 ATVs to choose from, followed by bikes next with about 7, and then the rest are karts. But all in all, I implore you guys to try a kart or a bike or ATV and see which one works best for you. Now as we move on to gameplay, I'm going to be showing you guys an example of a race that I did at Sunshine Airport in Versus mode. Now if you ever played with the GameCube controller or CCP in Mario Kart Wii, it's the same idea when you play with the gamepad or the Wii U Pro controller in Mario Kart 8. You have the A button to accelerate, B to brake, use the left control stick to steer, and it doesn't matter which L or R buttons you use, whether it's the regular L or the ZL, both are going to do the same thing. For the L and ZL buttons, you use them for items, and for the R and ZR button, you use them to drift and perform tricks. There is also no automatic drifting in this version of Mario Kart. There's only manual. The courses in the beginning won't be too taxing on you turn-wise, but I do highly suggest that you learn how to drift, and you learn how to drift quickly, because in the later courses, you will definitely need to know how to drift and get mini turbo boosts. You can also use the X button to look behind you just to check and see your blind spot and see where your opponents are at. The traditional items like the red and green shells, and bananas, coins, even the dreaded spiny shell make a return appearance. And also we have 3 new items, the boomerang flower, the piranha plant, and the super horn. What the super horn does is can actually block the spiny shell, which is something that could only be done by using a golden mushroom back in Mario Kart Wii. So the idea of that being a factor is pretty good to see, and As for the boomerang flower, it's pretty simple. You can use it up to 3 times, and you can throw it behind you or in front of you, and it'll come back to you if it doesn't break against something. Meanwhile, you have the piranha plant, which will pop up in front of your vehicle and snatches coins or gets rid of the bananas or shells that may be on the side of you and eats it up for you. Also, when you're closing in on an opponent, it'll also make them flip out by biting them. The item balance in this game is pretty good, I'd say. Now, the only thing that's different in this game is that depending on how far back you are from the next person in front of you will determine what kind of item you get. For example, say you're in second place and your opponent is in first and he's way ahead of you. You actually may get a star in second place, which didn't used to be the case back in the day. You had to be like further back just to get a star, but nowadays in Mario Kart 8 you can actually get a star in second place. You can also get a spiny shell in second place and even a super horn. This same idea works when you're in first place and you're way ahead of your opponent who is in second place. There you'll probably most likely get bananas, a green shell, maybe a red shell, and coins. More than likely coins, which is a gripe that I do have with this game. There are way too many instances that you get coins instead of bananas or shells, but it is what it is. One more note about items. The green shell is really good in this game. Like, it goes fast and you can hear it from like everywhere, so it's really hard to discern where it is exactly before it can actually hit you. So it's best if you look back every once in a while if you hear a green shell coming for you, because you never know if you'll be vulnerable to a pro green shell toss. Sorry, I just love saying that. Now here's something that really impressed me, is Mario Kart 8's music. It is amazing. Nintendo hired their own band to produce the music, and my god, it's really good. If you love orchestrated music in video games, you'll be in love with Mario Kart 8's soundtrack. There's so many tracks that I have favorite songs for, but I have to say my most favorite track song out of all the tracks is Bowser's Castle. That thing rocks. Just listen. I was also very impressed with the graphical quality of this game. Now, of course, it's just 720p. That can be upscaled to 1080p. However, even just doing that, it still looks so beautiful. And I really have to credit the developers for just making all the tracks just absolutely gorgeous to see, especially on HD TV. Just looks amazing. Now, moving to the online modes for this game, you basically have 4 things to choose from. You can either race in worldwide, which basically pits you against other players from around the world, and regional, which pits you against other players from around your region. Since I live in Texas, which is in the United States, when I pick regional, they're mainly going to focus on the region of the Americas, which is North and South. In addition, you can also check to see whether your friends are online, and you can join their races if you want. And there's also a tournament mode in which you can select whether you want to search by code or type of tournament or any other kind of search function, and you can also slot favorite tournaments into that section as well. And basically you can customize your tournament to how many races you want, what kind of items are available, whether or not carts or bikes can be driven, and whether or not you want to have computer opponents race with you if you have less than 12 people. It's all up to you to determine what kind of tournament experience you want. Local multiplayer is great too, and anyone can join in and play with you. Mario Kart 8 also has a theater mode called Mario Kart TV, in which you can select any of the recent races that you have raced either online or in any of the single player or local multiplayer modes. You also have a special section where you can favorite up to 6 clips that you want to save for later. Whenever you finish a race, you can select if you want that race to be a favorite by just hitting the plus button. When you select a certain clip, it will be under default settings already. So to edit, just go to Edit Highlight Reel. In it, you can select a featured driver that you want to focus on. You can select up to 4 of those. You can also shift the focus of the action to focus on everything, or certain items, or drifting, or any kind of big hits that you make. You can also increase the duration from 30 seconds to 45 or 60. You can also select just to have the racing noises on, or both the music and the racing noises on, or nothing at all. You know, I really enjoy Mario Kart 8. It's, to me, one of the best Mario Karts on a console, besides Double Dash. But there are a few complaints, although minor, that I would like to mention. And let me start first with the online. Now, the online servers are peer-to-peer, so it depends on who has the best host of connection. And in some cases, there will be some bouts of lag when it comes to racers. And it's also not just the racers, but also it affects how the items work as well. For example, when a red shell comes towards you, it'll go ahead of you at first, but then loop back around to hit you in the front, which is very odd in a Mario Kart game, to say the least. It also happens when you have a blue shell coming towards you, and it hits you from behind first, then circles around and then explodes on you, giving you a double whammy effect. Now, Nintendo has tried to rectify the situations between players by offering solutions to the connection issues on their Miiverse page, in particular the Mario Kart 8 page. But even then, there's still going to be times where there's just going to be lag between players. There's even a glitch where even if you finish in first place, you'll still end up in second place. It still doesn't make sense to me. But a couple of days ago, they did have maintenance to the servers, specifically the Mario Kart 8 servers, so maybe things will improve as time goes on for this game. Another complaint I have is with Mario Kart 8's battle mode. Now, of course, that particular battle mode uses regular tracks that have been slightly modified for battle mode. Even so, it still kind of irks me that we're still using the regular tracks from the Grand Prix and Versus modes, and not regular arenas like we've had in Mario Karts of old, which I'd rather see, but I understand they were trying to go for something different, but it just didn't hit the mark to me. At times, it's just simply frustrating when you have to drive all around the track just to find some opponents, that way you can throw items at them. It's just really a frustrating experience, and I think battle mode should just go back to having regular arenas, but mix them up a little bit. Of course, add some anti-gravity here and there, and of course had some flying sections in there too. Another issue I have is with the lack of any kind of record keeping in Mario Kart 8. Now, of course, you have stamps which were also in Super Mario 3D World that you can use to post to Miiverse, and they're all unique stamps featuring all the Mario Kart characters. But I just feel like I want to check out my records, check out my best times, check out my favorite racer, you know, that you had for Mario Kart Wii. I think it's just such a minor complaint, but I feel like that needs to be mentioned because I do kind of miss the record keeping that was in Mario Kart Wii. Now, just one more thing before I move on, I would like to talk about the lack of character variety in this game. Now, of course, you notice that you have Mario, then you have Metal Mario, and you have Peach, then you have Pink Gold Peach, then you have the baby versions, of course, Mario and Luigi, Peach, Daisy, and now the new one, Rosalina. They have a baby version there too. It's kind of disappointing to me to see the lack of characters in this game. I would like to see a better variety, and also severely notice the lack of Donkey Kong characters. Of course, we had Diddy Kong and Funky Kong, as well as Donkey Kong, in Mario Kart Wii in the previous game. And now we just have Donkey Kong, and I would like to see if Nintendo could release a character DLC pack. Maybe we bring back Diddy Kong and Funky Kong. Hell, bring in Dixie Kong as well. I mean, she was in the new Donkey Kong Country game on the Wii U, so it'd be a perfect time to introduce her in the Mario Kart franchise. I also think we should add in a few more unique characters. Bring back Birdo, since Birdo was in the previous Mario Kart. Of course, Bowser Jr. was also in the previous Mario Kart on Wii, but I'm thinking the Koopalings replaced him, so we're not going to worry about Bowser Jr. For me, I do want, some other enemy types get some representation, like Magic Koopa, for instance, or maybe the Sumo Brother, or Boom Boom, or, characters like that, the Mario Kart franchise. So would I be able to recommend Mario Kart 8? You damn betcha, man. If you have a Wii U, you have no excuse not to have Mario Kart 8 in your possession. There's such an amazing amount of replay value. The new characters are great to use, especially the Koopalings. Unlocking all the vehicle parts can be a pretty exciting experience and provides many customization options just for your racing style. The online modes are a real blast to play. Just make sure you bring your good experience level in all the courses, because it's going to be brutal online as you rise up the ranks. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and until next time, this has been Robeezy. Peace, y'all. I'm out.